So I started watching a show called DTF St. Louis, and it's really good. And I wanted to talk about like the characters, and actually like a better question is, what is the show trying to tell us? So in today's video, we're going to talk about DTF St. Louis, and if you haven't seen it, please go watch it and then come back to this video. If you don't care about spoilers, then stick around and enjoy the video. So a quick breakdown of DTF's story. It would be about a group of adults navigating relationship, heartbreak, uncertainty, and the challenges of figuring out who they are. Now each character crosses paths with each other, they pursue romantic interests, and they even confront their own insecurities. The show explores how people seek connection in hopes of filling an emotional void. At its core, the story isn't really about dating, cheating, or even like the mystery itself that the writers seem to set up. If anything, I think they're trying to tell you about the fulfillment and whether that could be found through another person or within themselves. So let's begin with the meat of the video. What really made me want to make this video was to talk about what each character means or what they represent. So let's begin with Floyd, who on paper is kind, he's caring, he's deeply empathetic, he wants people around him to be happy, sometimes to a really unhealthy degree, but underneath all of that love that he shows, he is struggling with his self-worth. Like as the show progresses, we see how his confidence has gone down, he's financially struggling, his changing body and insecurities about how his body is not to the standards that he wishes it would be, his insecurities, his inability to connect with his wife Carol, and all of these things have him feeling like he's losing himself. What's really tragic about Floyd is that he constantly looks for proof through other people of whether he's in fact worthy of love. Through Carol, through the dating apps, or even his friendship with Clark, he's always to some degree searching for reassurance. That is why I think Floyd represents the self-love side of the show. Not because Floyd has self-love, but because his story shows what happens when you don't. The more validation he seeks from other people, the more vulnerable he becomes. Now moving on to his wife, Carol, which is the search for stability. Carol is probably one of those characters that seems like very unlikable, but I like to think that she's just misunderstood, because at first it's easy to view her simply as the cheating spouse or the lady that creates lots of inconveniences. Whether you want to go back to the point where the detectives are speaking to her, like interrogating her, and she cuts them off by telling them, "Can you speak louder?" That can give off the vibe that she's just this unlikable lady. However, Carol isn't just looking for romance. I think she's looking for stability. She does love Floyd, but she also carries frustration towards the life they built together. She wants security, consistency, and a future she can rely on. When Floyd struggles financially and emotionally, Carol begins looking elsewhere for the things that she feels are missing. What makes her interesting is that she genuinely seems torn between what she wants and what she needs. She's not really searching for a soulmate, she's searching for relief. And she seems to find that sort of relief from Clark. Moving on to Clark, I think Clark represents the search for connection. I think Clark is the clearest example of the show's message about comfort. He has a family, he has a career. From the outside, his life appears stable. He looks successful. It looks like he has everything most people would dream of. Somehow, he's unhappy, which makes this character really interesting because Clark's affair doesn't seem to be about sex. It seems to be about feeling seen or feeling like there's something more than his mundane life that he created for himself. He finds something in Carol. I think that it makes him feel like there's more to live with, like him cheating on his wife and creating this whole situation that kind of screws up his life, brings him back to life. But even with that, he really doesn't seem fully satisfied. The more he chases this connection, the more complicated and messy his life becomes. Clark's story suggests that another person can temporarily fill that emotional void, but they can't permanently solve it. So with that out of the way, I think it's also interesting to talk about his friendship with Floyd, or the friendship between both of them. I think this is interesting because by the end of the show, the relationship that feels most genuine is the one between Floyd and Clark. Beneath all the lies, affairs, and misunderstanding, there's a sincere emotional connection between both of them. The series spends most of the time exploring vulnerability, loneliness, and this friendship between both of them. And I think that's where the show basically makes the answer clear. The story isn't like arguing if we should isolate ourselves and learn to love ourselves alone, but in a way, it's trying to tell us that one person, it just takes one person to, I guess, save us from feeling like we aren't worth anything. And that's what Clark brings to Floyd. And I think it goes vice versa. I think Floyd to some degree brings that to Clark. So to sum up the video, I think Floyd is searching for self-worth, Carol's searching for stability, and Clark is just searching for some connection. In the end, it really does show when Clark talks about the situation post Floyd's death and how he feels about that friendship he had with him and all those moments that made him feel whole again with Floyd. And it really shows that the show is just trying to talk about like maybe self-fulfillment and to some degree the power of having someone that you can trust and that is there for you to in some way validate how you feel, but in other ways just to be part of your life so you don't have to go through it alone. And that is the end on what I think about DTF St. Louis. If you are interested in more reviews or anything, let me know in the comment section. I try to watch the shows and review them or even do reactions about them. Just give me suggestions of shows to watch. Please subscribe. Please help us reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this, hit the subscribe button. It's free. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.